So the new Ricoh GR HDF highlight diffusion filter. Oh my God, that's so much to get out. Um, so I feel like the best thing that I can describe what Ricoh is doing, and I love Ricoh, I love GR, I shoot GR only, and I'm pretty, you know, pretty open about that fact. So they are doing what Sega did in the 90s. Remember the Genesis, how great everybody loved the Genesis? And then Genesis released the Sega CD. And then they released the 32X because they couldn't figure out which direction to go in, and they both were really expensive and they both sucked. And by the time that the Sega Saturn came out, which was actually a great system, my personal opinion, way better than the PlayStation, nobody wanted it. Sega had burned all of their bridges. It wasn't just the price. It wasn't just the, 3D marketing that PlayStation did. A lot of it had to do with there were a lot of people who put money down on these garbage products that they had saturated the market with and were not happy with what they received. So the GR3, GR2 as well, GR3X, great cameras. Highly recommend them. Highly recommend the system. Now, at first, they did like a street edition versus an urban edition for the 3 and 3X. I never really paid attention to them. A large portion of this just had to do with different coloring and different coloring. And people, sometimes like to spend a little bit more for a special edition of something. And by all means, waste your money on whatever you want to. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But I am not the target demographic. I'm not going to pay an extra 50 or $100 for a orange or blue camera. I'm just not. But now there is yet a third edition. So we have the 3, the 3X, the street and urban. I forget which one is for the 3 and which one's for the 3X. I don't care. And now we have a 3 and 3X version with the highlight diffusion filter or whatever it is. So right now the GR comes with an ND filter attached, and the ND filter works like an ND filter does. It's a neutral density filter, and it basically just darkens the image, which when you're outside and you're shooting outside can be very effective. The highlight diffusion filter, first things first, is not a very good highlight diffusion filter. I like the idea that there are filters that are inside of the camera, since this is a pocketable, portable camera system. It makes sense to me, but it's not a very good one. Now, the problem here is if you want a highlight diffusion filter, you have to buy an attachment to fit it over the lens, because it doesn't, obviously screw in to the attached lens. So if you want highlight diffusion, this is one of the only ways to get it without seriously investing. I personally, when I'm shooting with my GR, don't like to have any of those things. I like to just shoot with the camera bare. My own personal take. I think it's part of the charm of the camera. Now, I know a lot of people will be like, yeah, but you can't get this effect and so on and so forth. Yeah, I'm not a fan. And I feel like by not creating a actual follow-up, an actual upgrade to the GR, and you're just trying to fleece people on different editions, I think it's not a very good look for Ricoh. I recognize that part of Ricoh's strategy is the sensor for the GR is old. Everybody knows that it's an old sensor. Nobody's, complaining. It's a good sensor. 24 megapixels is fine. I know now with APS-C, they've got the 26 megapixel, and Fuji just came out with like a 40 megapixel, and we can go down that road. I mean, I'm sure plenty of those are great sensors, but there's nothing wrong with this one. Yeah, it's a little bit slower readout, We're not going to do sports photography with this in terms of actual image quality, in terms of dynamic range. They really haven't come up with something better. So by not necessarily having the cutting edge, you're able to get a very affordable, very professional camera. Okay, that's what the GR is about. It's about, you know, boiling things down into an essence of photography, and I think they've done just a fantastic job. So that's fine and all. But when you have 6 editions of something that's minimalistic and you're just trying to like do every permutation a little bit different to try and resell people the same thing, it just puts a bad taste in people's mouth. Compare that, contrast that with the GR2. I mean, yes, you have the GR1 and the GR2, which are essentially the same camera. One has, I believe it's GPS or Wi-Fi. I don't remember which. I think Wi-Fi. But people kind of just saw, hey, if you have a GR1, you don't really need a GR2. If you didn't have a GR and you're going to buy one, yeah, this has got a little new feature on it. But nobody was trying to sell you on the idea that your GR1 was not good enough. I feel like with this, they're trying to coax people in for a very minor upgrade. Now, on the other hand, the X100 from Fuji, I think we're at the 6 now. Yeah, 6. I feel like it's fine. Like it's become such a big thing on TikTok. It's become so desired that the GR is now becoming desired because as the X100s are going away, a lot of people are seeing the GR as a similar enough, a good enough. Like, well, we can't get a X100, but we can get a GR and it's close enough. Okay. So the real problem that I have with this is that the GR, the OG GR and the OG GR 3X are also becoming out of stock. They're becoming hard to get available. So the issue here is now you have a new product that costs $100, $150 more. And that is now in stock. So rather than replacing what's in demand, you've now managed to figure out a way to say, okay, we're not making enough GRs to meet demand, but we are making this new product, and it's $100, $150 more. And I feel like if Ricoh had a mind for this, they would understand that fleecing people, yeah, you might get the money up front, but like it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. Like right now, I 100% want the GR4. I think there's a couple of different permutations of the GR4 that I think would be amazing. But I also now wonder what version of the GR4 is going to come out in a way that I didn't before. When I got the GR3 when it first came out, I wasn't thinking like, I wonder if they're going to improve upon it or create a physical upgrade that, I don't want to get the GR3 because they're going to make the GR3 super, and it has some minor upgrades and so on and so forth. And I think the beauty of the GRs is you buy the base model and you forget about it. The fact that they even made a GRX with, a different lens attachment, I've talked about this at length before, but in a lot of ways, it did feel like a cash grab, even if it does more fully expand upon the lens selection of the amount of jobs that you can do using just GR. But the outward creep of we not actually wanting to put the R&D into a new, better camera, we're just going to make these more expensive tweaks. I mean, to be completely fair, I would be much more sympathetic to Ricoh if they were just like, hey, because of pandemic and shortages and all of the different production issues that have had, the base level GR is just now $50 more expensive. Inflation. Sorry. I feel like that would be like, everybody understands inflation. But this idea that you're going to create a product that nobody wants, that doesn't even do its job well, like, to be completely honest, like, if I had a choice between the new one, the highlight diffusion, filter, and this, the original with the ND filter, I would choose the ND filter 10 times out of 10. But the idea that you're going to take the ND filter largely off the market to push something else so that you can cram in a $50, $100 premium onto it, I'd much rather you just be like, hey, the original is just more expensive to produce than when we started. Prices have gone up. Adjust accordingly.